You downloaded Starfish Literacy's 4 in a Row game. Now what? Let's take a look at it together. When you have the opportunity, make sure to read this page about blending. It's going to give you a little bit more information about why is this activity important. And just one note, that before you begin blending visually with letters, make sure you blend orally. This skill is called phonological awareness. It is where you say the sounds, no visual of the letter, and your child would blend them together. For example, you could say p-ig, p-ig, and your child, without looking at any letters, just hearing you say that, could blend it together and say pig. Now let's dive in to 4 in a row. I want to point out a few things that you will see here. You will notice that there are different levels. Here we have level 1. These are going to be consonant, vowel, consonant words. If this activity is too challenging for your child, continue to practice individual letter sounds or vowel consonant words like it, up, an, am, on, etc. Level 2 is going to be consonant, vowel, consonant words with an S at the end. The reason why this is a separate level is because this is your child's first introduction to one letter making two different sounds. So in some instances, S is going to make S at the end of a word, and in some instances, S is going to make Z at the end of a word. Level 3 is going to be blends. This is going to have two consonants that blend together, but they do make two distinct sounds. For example, plug, that p and l squeeze together a bit, right? They merge together, they blend together, but they still are unique sounds. Level 4 is digraphs. Digraphs are two or more letters that make one sound. And you will see here that the digraphs are underlined. This is a visual cue to remind your child that even though they are seeing more than one letter, it is still just going to make one sound. Level 5 is long vowels, specifically a vowel, a consonant, and E. So for example, we have the word line here. We have oo, I, but that E at the end does not make a sound. It is working almost as a vowel team with the I, so that I makes I instead of I. And then we have a bonus, which is going to be all the different levels merged together. That way, once your child has practiced each individual level separately, they can show their mastery by having them all be combined on one board game. Also included is a blank board game. This way, if your child needs additional practice with a specific skill, you could fill in this board and make it reflect exactly what they need to be working on. I suggest putting these board games in some type of sheet protector. I will link the ones that I use. These sheet protectors have stood the test of time. I use them in the classroom with many kindergartners, and they are very durable. You could also use regular sheet protectors. I do recommend a little bit of the thicker ones because the thinner ones can scrunch up a bit when you erase. I also recommend some type of dry erase markers. I like this set because it has a lot of colors. I'll link this below as well, just so that way you have an easy way to know how to get this activity going. To play this activity, you have to have 2 players, your board, and markers. You could play this just with regular markers and paper, but that way you would have to print it more often. So I do recommend sheet protectors so you can get multiple use out of the board game. One person would go first and they would pick one of the bottom rows. Imagine this is like the game Connect 4, and you would put your piece down in the bottom and it would drop all the way down. Your child goes first and they pick the word dip. Now they have to be able to read this word in order to color that in. Now it's your turn. You would pick a circle, dad. Again, so reading in order to be able to fill it in. The goal is to get 4 in a row. You could tell your child they could maybe go diagonally, they could go up, whichever way they want to build so they get 4 in a row. And here is the example of what a winning board would look like. So 4 in a row, but remember your child has to be able to read those words in order to be able to fill it in. And if one of the levels is too hard for your child, go to the lower level and have them play on that until they feel ready to try that next level up. This activity is a fun and easy way to get your child practicing blending words and have fun with a little bit of competition with you. Make sure to share in the comments how this activity is working with your child, and make sure to follow Starfish Literacy for more resources like these and more tips that you can use to support your child's reading and writing skills.